Hey guys, Rogue Orange here, welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing something a little bit different. In a lot of my videos recently, I've been looking at a lot of development kits, a lot of development units, and just flat out bad game systems. But today we're going to look at something that's still fairly unique. See, back in the ancient times of the 1990s and early 2000s, Nintendo had a little bit of a personality, and they had consoles that were fun with a lot of brand names on them. But this one was very unique in how you got it. This is the Panasonic Alkaline Game Boy Color. And I know what you're thinking. Panasonic? Alkaline? Batteries?
Yes.
See, back in the 90s and even today, people are throwing their alkaline batteries in the trash, and that is a big no-no. So the question was, how do we get people to stop throwing these in the trash and, do the right thing? Well, you give them an incentive, of course. So in February 1999, famous Japanese magazine CoroCoro magazine ran a promotion in which they gave away 3,000 of these Panasonic Alkaline Game Boy Colors. The catch is that you traded in your alkaline batteries. I've never heard of a contest so odd, but yet have such a cool prize for it. And before we look over the rest of the system, here's what the box looked like. Mine came loose. The box really isn't too exciting. It just has the little alkaline Panasonic stamp on it, so that's cool, I guess. But yeah, looking over the system, it is a grape purple Game Boy Color with a special Panasonic alkaline lens on it. And, I mean, overall, it's in pretty good shape. There are a couple of things that, kind of not make it worth as much as it should be. Starting off with the shell, it is very much sunburnt. The back, though, looks not terrible. The front definitely has seen better days. The stickers on the back are less than ideal. The serial number that this would have had is completely gone, as well as the sticker is water damaged, and the protective film that was on top of this has completely peeled off. But if we take off the battery cover, you're going to see the inside. The contacts actually look pretty good. They're not in the worst condition I've ever seen. Let's see if I can focus. I mean, there is a tiny bit of corrosion, but honestly, if this thing runs, I would not be surprised because it's in pretty good shape. Maybe one of these days I'll tear it apart and maybe like clean the contacts and clean the board, give it like a fresh bath or whatever. And I mean, the cartridge slot, look at the cartridge slot, the shield looks pretty good. I'm not gonna try and like zoom in here, but you can just see from that initial like peek over the cartridge slot, it looks pretty solid. None of the screws are oxidized, I love that. And like I said, the shell, the grape shell is pretty burnt, but the lens is in like really, really good condition. And in all honesty, that's really what matters here, is this screen lens, is because this is a completely custom screen lens that is not available on any other Game Boy Color that has ever been made. And as I said, I would love to, take this apart, give this a clean. I've been thinking about replacing the sticker here and maybe, just replacing this sticker. But the problem is I really don't want to change this from the way that it originally was, and that even includes the shell, because I was also thinking about maybe taking this screen lens off and maybe taking a OEM grape purple Game Boy and just slapping that lens and everything on there. But honestly, I just don't think that would be right. I want to keep this as original as possible. Alright, without further ado, we're gonna try and play a game on this thing. Honestly, what else are we gonna do? And don't worry, these batteries are good and they're rechargeable, so I don't have to throw them away. So I'm not going to be defeating the purpose of why this Game Boy exists in the first place. Give the batteries a nice roll. Grab one of the greatest Game Boy games of all time, Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball. And let's get a line on so you can actually like somewhat see the screen. And here we go. And as you can see, this thing works really good. Oh, the start button's a little hard to push. That might just be dirty contacts. Let me turn that down a little bit. The start button was a little bit hard to press, so that might be the contacts on the rubber membranes that might need cleaned and the contacts on the board itself. But overall, the screen looks great, the volume obviously works great. Other than the cosmetic condition of the system, it honestly doesn't feel terrible. Doesn't seem to play that bad. The other buttons seem to work perfectly fine. Usually I'm not this bad at baseball, I'm sorry. The fact that it took me 1 to 2 business days for me to get to the ball and he still only made it to first base, that's actually kind of surprising. Baseball games truly have come a long way. I promise I'm not usually this bad at it. Throw the ball. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is not going very well. But I think you get the picture. This is a great working unit. And maybe in a future video I will take this apart and give it a nice clean, put everything back together. It's gonna be minty, it's gonna be awesome. Alright, and that was a look at the Panasonic Alkaline Game Boy Color. I love systems like this. I love systems that are just kind of weird and outlandish that really have no business existing, but they do anyways. I love collecting them, and I have quite a few of these in the collection, so if you guys want to see me look at more of those systems, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of my content, comment down below what you think. Anyways, my name's been Rogue Orange, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.